is best known to us today as a novelist, but he was a really great poet, and I love his poetry. He was hugely varied as a poet, writing lyrics and odes, satires, ballads, dramatic monologues, war poems, and even one about the sinking of the Titanic. I think he was a remarkable and a very versatile poet. This poem, The Darkling Thrush, was published on the 29th of December 1900. Hardy felt that he was about to go into a new century, and this poem marks that important moment. The Darkling Thrush. I leant upon a coppice gate when frost was spectre grey, and winter's dregs made desolate the weakening eye of day. The tangled vine stems scored the sky like strings of broken lyres, and all mankind that haunted nigh had sought their household fires. The land's sharp features seemed to be the century's corpse outlent, his crypt, the cloudy canopy, the wind his death lament. The ancient pulse of germ and birth was shrunken, hard and dry, and every spirit upon earth seemed fervorless as I. At once a voice arose among the bleak twigs overhead in a full-hearted evensong of joy illimited. An aged thrush, frail, gaunt and small, in blast-beruffled plume, had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the growing gloom. So little cause for carolings of such ecstatic sound was written on terrestrial things afar or nigh around, that I could think there trembled through his happy good-night air some blessed hope whereof he knew and I was unaware. Thomas Hardy was an atheist. He was very worried about the changes that the 20th century might bring. I think in that wonderful poem, he's looking back over the difficulties of the past century, and he's not feeling very optimistic about what will happen in the new century. And then suddenly he hears this little bird, and it gives him a sense of hope and optimism that maybe change is in the air. It's a poem, I think, about the decay of civilization at the end of the 19th century. The thrush becomes a symbol for possible rebirth and for hope. I think it's a marvellous poem by Thomas Hardy. Hardy had always loved writing poetry. It was his first love when it came to literature. He wrote novels in order to make money, and the novels did bring in very good money, but they also brought in criticism. After publishing Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Jude the Obscure, he was greatly attacked for some of the aspects that he had put into those books. Jude the Obscure lives with a woman who is not his wife, and they have children together. This was considered very shocking in late Victorian society. So after writing that book and having to cope with all of these attacks, Hardy decided to give up on fiction and turn to his great love, poetry. So there are wonderful hundreds and hundreds of marvellous poems by Thomas Hardy. If you can get hold of them, read by Richard Burton, then you just feel that you have died and gone straight to the heaven that Hardy did not believe in. Richard Burton does a marvellous job at interpreting Hardy's poems. Hardy wrote many wonderful love poems to his first wife, Emma. Unfortunately, he wrote them after Emma had died. The marriage was not always a very happy one, and he was so full of grief and remorse about the way that he had treated Emma when she was alive that he ended up writing her these marvellous love poems after her death. This did not impress Mrs. Hardy number 2, whose name was Florence. She would much rather that he was writing love poems to her. But the relationship between Hardy and his first wife, Emma, did inspire some of the great love poems of English literature. I think that Hardy is one of the very finest poets of the whole of the 20th century. Claire Tomalin, one of my very favourite biographers, has written an excellent book on Thomas Hardy, The Time-Torn Man. And she gives many really perceptive and interesting analyses of his poems and a really good summary of Thomas Hardy as a poet. So I can recommend this biography from many different points of view. It's a really excellent book to read. I hope I have encouraged you to read some more of Hardy's fabulous poems. Do, as I say, look out for Richard Burton reading them. You can find some of them on YouTube. If you have enjoyed my reading of the Darkling Thrush, do like it and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. There are lots more fabulous poems to come.